Welcome, everybody. This is Pat Hand. I am the owner of Dancing Moon Travel and here as your host of Let's Talk Travel this evening. And we are here. We have our friends from Barbados, Tia Broomes and Seymour Bailey. They are with the Barbados Tourism Authority, and they're going to talk to us about everything related to Barbados. I'm going to start tonight. I just wanted to start us off with just a little clip here to just whet your appetite and give you a little overview of Barbados as a destination. So welcome.
Nice and nice.
I am wonderful with technology. That won't be the last thing I mess up tonight, I guarantee it. But welcome to our audience and welcome. We have Tia Broomes and Seymour Bailey right here from Barbados. Welcome, guys. It's good to have you. We appreciate you taking time. I'm excited to welcome you aboard and tell us about the beautiful island of Barbados. Guys, let's start by just getting acquainted with you. If you could each just take a few seconds and tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how long you've been with the Tourism Authority and so forth. Ladies first.
Thank you, Pat. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us this evening. It's dark outside where I am. I'm not sure if it's still sunlight where you guys are. But thanks for joining us this evening. As Pat said, my name is Tia Broomes. I'm the Business Development Officer for Cruise for the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. So my role is really to promote and market the island as a cruise destination. So I will be sharing lots of useful information for all of you for cruises to the island. So any questions that you have, you can post if I don't deliver what you may be looking for.
Great. And I wanted to just welcome, we've got Kathy and Gretchen watching us. They're regulars here.
Hi, Kathy and Gretchen.
We're glad to have, we have a few more people on. They haven't said anything. And or comment in there. Let me know who you are and where you're coming from. Seymour, what about you? How long have you been in Barbados tourism?
Well, I've been with the organization almost August will be 20 years. And if you do the math, I'm 21. So I've been there from the age of 1. My role at TM, I'm the business development officer based here in South Florida. So I manage the state of Florida for Barbados, and so I will be.
You're my guy here.
Yes, definitely. So you're key person here. So for anything that you need local, reach out to me, and I'll be sure to help you or any of your team members and get in. All organized for your trip to Barbados as we get ready to relaunch the destination. And I don't know, it is this evening, so I brought my cocktail with me. I don't know if Tia brought anything for you, but I have.
Didn't actually. I just have water.
Okay. I have my usual, So we're all set here. Our little cocktail or not party here.
But Seymour's background pretty much tells the story of Barbados because he has quite a collection there of rums. So
I see some bottles in the background there, so I can't wait to hear more about that. Guys, I loved the island of Barbados when I was there, and I was there by cruise ship. So we
really.
Yeah, we barely scratched the surface. Of course, you're there for one day, and so I really am looking forward to an opportunity to visit again and
How
get
long ago was that?
that. Oh gosh, I can't even remember. It's been several years, uh,
Okay.
but I'll tell you a little more about it as we get down there. But we did one of our favorite pastimes while we were there, which we always enjoy. But just a little refresher for our audience who may need a little help here with their geography. Here's a map showing Barbados tucked away down here. Just so you know where it is, it's way down in the southern Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. The best part of
And
the Caribbean, actually. So the island is the most easterly island in the Caribbean. As you can see, we stay outside of everybody else. And that's one of the things that makes the destination unique and different. And it also helps us during the hurricane season because of our location. A lot of the major hurricanes and tropical storms, they pass to the north of the island. So Barbados has not experienced a major hurricane since the 1950s.
this is lovely because you just segued into my questions and you just are moving right along, just right in order of what. Uh, so
She's
that,
been locked away for a little while, so she's just anxious to get back to work.
yeah, the Southern Caribbean and going down to visit like Barbados and it's a great destination during hurricane season because if you go to some of the more northerly, I mean, we know that St. Martin and not to pick out on them, but St. Thomas, St. Martin, Puerto Rico, Cancun area, and all of those are, they're frequently affected, much more frequently. So people who want to get away and do a fun Caribbean escape
Come to
during
Barbados.
Barbados is a fabulous place, and it's just about the right time to make those reservations for to kind of get something on the books to look forward to. So start thinking,
Exactly.
yeah. So guys, what sets Barbados aside from the destination and the hurricane-proof sort of thing? What are some of the things that set Barbados apart from some of the other Caribbean islands? How's it different?
I would say number one on our people experience, on the visitor experience for the destination is the people experience. That is what your clients that you've sent to Barbados continue to rate the destination number one for. And the reason for that is, I mean, just the warm hospitality of the Barbadian people. And you get that everywhere, but I'll tell you what is exceptional about that. And it plays into a number of things that you would experience when you get to further immerse yourself into the destination next time you're there. Um, because of the hospitality of the Barbadian people, you come to an island where the beaches remain public. So you could be staying at one of the most exclusive resorts. You would run into the local Barbadian people. So there's not a resort area somewhere on the west side of the island or the east side where the visitors go and the locals are not. And so you can go to this most exclusive hotel and you meet the locals on the beach. And the average Barbadian, they're not starstruck. They see these celebs in Barbados, and the average person, hello, good morning. They don't want an autograph. They don't want a souvenir. They just want to say hi and keep moving. So that whole people experience is critical to who we are as a destination. And therefore, a lot of the experiences you'll have in Barbados, again, you encounter. So you might go to Festive Fridays, which is a new attraction to you, we'll mention a little later. And the locals are there. So the experiences are very authentic and they include the local Barbadian people because they recognize your clients have come to Barbados for a vacation and they want to ensure they have the greatest time of their lives. And the Barbadian people go out of their way to ensure that.
And that's
And
another thing. Go ahead,
if
Gretchen.
if I could add to that as well, I think a number of the wins that we've had in recent years, being one of the top destinations in the world, being one of the top destinations in the Southern Caribbean for cruisers, being rated as one of the safest destinations in the world as well, is testimony to the warmth and the friendliness of the Barbadian people. Because I always say that our people are our greatest asset. And without them, we would not have achieved the success that we have in tourism. Because for years, we had the slogan, tourism is our business, let's play our part. And Barbadians really, took that to heart and really extended that warmth and hospitality to our visitors, because we all understand that tourism is our main economic driver. And without all these tourists coming to the island, we would not enjoy, much of the social services and the standard of living that we enjoy every day.
Well, that's
So I think that all of those things help to set us apart
yeah, I
from a
was
lot of our
certainly
competitors.
when we visited, one of the things, the warmth of the people, just the genuineness and welcome. I felt it was definitely, and there are, we know there are Caribbean destinations where that's not, where everybody is a hard sell coming at you all the time, so it's in Barbados, you don't get it. It's just a genuine warm welcome, and that's how I felt when we were there. I just want to mention here, Deborah, hi to you. She says hi to you, Tia and
Hi,
Seymour.
Deborah.
And Gretchen's on here frequently, and Gretchen is. She says if they're able to cruise in 21, they'll be in Barbados in March. They have a cruise plan, so
Happy
they
to hear that.
to that. And I've got a travel agent friend of mine here who's on, Eva, and she says she loves Barbados. So all great comments here, and thanks everybody. Appreciate your comments and
Yeah, thank you.
yeah. One of the things about Barbados, and I'm going to put up another image here. Um, the two sides of the island are very different, are they not?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So we have the eastern side of the island, which is a bit more rugged, a bit more unspoilt. That's where you get some of the freshest breezes that you ever experience on the island, because the breeze on the east coast is the breeze that would have left the west coast of Africa, and there's been no human intervention in between there until it reaches Barbados. So that's where, if you see in a lot of our marketing materials, the natural rocks at Bathsheba, the rugged coastline, and then you come to the west, we all call the Platinum Coast, where the beaches are a bit more placid, the water is more calmer, and it's good for swimming, and you can snorkel with the turtles. Um, you can go diving. So they're like polar opposites
Okay,
on both
and
sides.
you've got it, and it really is. It's an island of contrasts, and
Very
and
much.
if you're there for, if you're staying at a resort, Barbados is one of those places. There's places you visit, and I really do not feel comfortable telling my clients to get off and leave the resort and wander around. But Barbados, no, get out and see the island and experience the culture and the people. Stop at the roadside stands and things. It's definitely one of those kind of places. So what about weather, guys? When is the best time? That's always a question people ask. When should they come?
Well, we like to say it's always a good time to be in Barbados. So it always more so depend on what the client is looking for. So again, if you're trying to escape winter in North America, then December through April, we still have that 80, 85 degrees kind of year-round weather. The white sand beaches and the warm water is still very much there, but what we've done as a destination over the years is to develop a lot of other activities throughout, so that there's always something going on in Barbados when those clients arrive. So if they're looking for food and some rum, definitely you want to come join the Food and Rum Festival in October. Then our signature festival, again, which celebrates the end of the sugarcane harvest crop, over our most colorful festival. That is a 6-week summer festival from June going into culminating on the first Monday in August. So we say it kind of depends on when folks want to be in the island. I mean, in terms of the cruise itinerary, Tia would speak to that in terms of the vessels calling on Barbados and that availability, but more so from the destination perspective, if it is weather related or whether it's beautiful year round. Again, because we're outside of that hurricane belt, typically we are not impacted. So during those summer months, June through November, you'll typically, unless a tropical depression or something is threatening the island, you'll get a nice morning shower. We call that the liquid sunshine. In a little moment that is out, the sun is back shining, and it's a beautiful day again on the island.
And what about weather there? You get rain fall and I know some of the islands are surprisingly arid and dry, but Barbados.
We get a mixture. We have a wet and dry season, so we're in the middle of the hurricane season. But our rainfall varies, and I guess with the whole climate change, that we had quite a few showers over the last couple of days, but sunshine always comes through at some
It's
point.
not, it's
So
not like
yeah,
you
so you
don't have
never
those
have
all day.
this consistent gloomy weather. Sunshine always comes through at some point in time. So
Perfect.
even in our cruise season, which runs typically from October till the end of April, the weather is pretty good during that time.
Excellent. I've got a comment here. Kathy says she never considered Barbados as a destination, but we're making it sound quite inviting. So we may lure some people over to come and visit.
Well, we
And I
hope to see her soon.
Yeah, okay, very good.
And your point, Donna, if I could say something, especially as we emerge from this, and thank Kathy for considering us, because Barbados has never been a mass market destination. So we have been, in terms of even our product mix, a lot smaller properties. And especially in this post-COVID environment, those are some of the assets of the destination that will take us through this period where there's smaller, more intimate resorts. Our beaches are not crowded beaches, so even during peak season, you go onto the beaches because the average hotel in Barbados range from less than 100 sometimes to the maximum 400 rooms in Barbados. So the beaches are not crowded. So we were doing social distancing before there was social distancing. So those lend themselves well. So if she hasn't heard about Barbados, those are some reasons we're not a mass market with massive 1,000 room hotels and crowded beaches. It's more open type destination.
And this is kind of funny the way you just segue into my questions because my next thing here, I wanted to show people here some of the kinds of resort properties because I think as you were saying, there are wonderful properties here. You have the all inclusives. But they're not as huge as you mentioned,
Yes.
and
That's Ocean too.
we have the all inclusives that people always like those kind of properties, and then you have like the
That looks
smaller.
like Sugar Bay.
You're being there, yeah. And
Uh,
It looks like Sugar Bay.
if I could speak to that again, and I just before I came on, I was on with another agent on the phone, and she's looking for like a 10-room property. And I was able to recommend Little Arches because she has a group of older folks, and she's saying, Seymour, if I could get a hotel where this is a older group that I normally travel to Italy with, but they still want to go somewhere. But if I can get a property where just them or that group of folks are in that property, so I was able to identify that, and she was like, I had to tell her I have to be on another call with Dancing Moon, so but she was all literally over the moon, excited about that. So having those small intimate properties for your group in this post-COVID period is good. Also, another asset we have in terms of the villa product. That Barbados has a vast array of villa again for folks who want
Yep.
and you point them out for those folks who want that additional privacy or the safety concerns. Actually, there's an initiative that our Prime Minister is working on where she's inviting people. It's not totally finalized, where folks can come and stay for it's a year tier, she's saying in Barbados.
wow.
Yes. And I think work or something like that.
And you could actually work in Barbados for a year again. You know that we are
Yeah.
catered from our offices in New York and Miami and elsewhere. That is one of the initiatives the island is putting out there. Another significant asset is our private jet terminal. So, folks, if you have those clients with private jets, we have a private jet terminal, so they're not coming into the main airport interacting with those folks arriving on the 747s from the UK and elsewhere. So those are some of the real assets that the destination has in this post-COVID period that, again, for those clients you have out there, that will really make us appealing going forward.
And speaking to that whole accommodation area as well, Pre and post is a big thing. Barbados is we have declared we are the hub in the Southern Caribbean for home porting. There are many cruises that begin out of Barbados from mostly the European and the UK brands. But given the uncertainty and the fluidity of the situation now with the North American brands, we may even see some of those brands home porting out of the island as well. And pre and post has become a big thing for us. It's grown over the years. And of course, if you fly to Barbados to take a cruise, where would you not want to stay before or after? It makes sense. It's like
Absolutely.
having your cake and eating it too. You come and you stay a couple of days either before the cruise or after the cruise, and you experience the destination. So you're not just flying here to sail, but you're sailing and staying.
Right. I have a question here though, that Gretchen has asked. Are the beaches sandy or are they shells and corals?
Well, they're mostly sandy, depending on how the tide comes in, or if you do have rough seas, you may find a lot of the coral and the fine rocks coming ashore. But most of our beaches are typically sandy, very
And,
picturesque.
and powdery sand, you get different
Sand
variations.
very clear, so no dark sand,
Sometimes you get a little brown, sometimes there's some pink sands, depending on the part of the island.
but no
Um,
black sand.
yeah.
Here's one I did before we get off the topic of lodging. I should mention that you have one of the Sandals properties, one of their kind of their top of the line properties there. Uh,
Yes.
uh,
Well, there are two Sandals properties. They sit on one compound, but there's Sandals Barbados and Sandals Royal Barbados. So they are,
Royal Barbados is kind of one of their flagship properties,
yeah.
I believe.
They
So
do cruise and stay as well, believe it or not.
so
So yeah, as well as a number of other all-inclusive properties on the island, some of the smaller ones. But one little, again, a little differentiating factor I would want to point out again for folks traveling to the island. Um, what again, and we started with this. What really makes the Barbadian experience so unique is the people interaction. And I know folks have gotten accustomed to that, but again, because of the factors you mentioned earlier, the safety, the activities that Tia would get into in terms of things to do outside of the resort. You don't want to come to Barbados and be locked inside a resort property. You want to get out. So again, with me as the one who really specializes in more of the land-based travel, I usually tell folks book something and really get out, maybe a bed and breakfast, and get out and enjoy all Barbados has to offer. Because one of the things you will also find, a lot of these activities that Tia will speak to in a little bit, they include meals. So you're going out on a catamaran cruise. It's not like here in the US where you take your wine and beer with you. There's a full open bar as a part of that activity. So a lot of the activities themselves are meal and rum punch inclusive. So you don't need to bring that ever with you. So another reason really in terms of the product mix that we really encourage people to really do something and get out and enjoy the destination, and you don't necessarily need to be fettered to an all-inclusive product.
right, that's the thing about Barbados. I just really think the fact that you can really get out and explore the culture and get to know people and really not worry about safety issues and about being thronged by people trying to buy their wares and things. So it's one of those really special places in the Caribbean like that. Uh, what kind of travelers? You were talking about an agent who was talking with you about like the older, the mature traveler. So it's a great destination for the seniors to come visit. What are some other groups? Is it a good choice for like the adventure lovers, soft adventure, surfers, snorkelers, nature lovers?
Oh yeah, definitely. One of our main attributes is that we are such a diverse destination. There is something to do for there's something for everybody to do. So you can come and you can just lounge at the beach. There's that type of traveler that will not do anything. And then you have soft adventure. You can go hiking at Coco Hill. You can do yoga. You can meditate
Paddleboarding.
here. If you're into nature, there are lots of fruit trees and plants with all these medicinal properties. You
Botanical
can go to
garden.
Walker's Reserve. There is a big conservation area in St. Andrew, and they're encouraging everybody that visits to come plant a tree because there is a big turtle nesting site in that area. And because of all the degradation and so on with the trees, they're trying to replant some of the
Okay.
forest
So,
forests
a
in that
real
area.
initiative to reforest and
Yeah.
okay,
So
great.
you can come, you can plant that tree, and every time you come to Barbados, you can go see the progress the tree's made. And if it bears fruit, you can say, well, yeah, this is a tree planted 5, 6 years ago, and here it's bearing fruit. So you'd
That,
always have that connection to the island. You can go snorkeling. We have a big turtle population on the west coast. You can go swimming with the turtles, and that's a big hit, especially among cruisers.
mm-hmm.
There are a lot of reefs and wrecks on the west as well. You can go diving.
So
You
those
can go to
are
a rum shop.
snorkeling. Yeah.
Yeah, our culture transcends British and African because we used to be one of the most important ports during the colonial era, slavery. We were a very important slave port for the British. We used to be a colony of Great Britain. So when ships left the west coast of Africa, Barbados typically was the first stop. So we were heavily involved in the slave trade. Actually, Seymour could testify that we started the Carolinas, so we have this big connection going on with the Carolinas. So a lot of the slaves who would have moved on to the Carolinas came through Barbados. So a lot of our existing architecture, like Bridgetown, for example, is a World UNESCO Heritage Area. Bridgetown and its garrison. We have the third oldest parliament in the Western Hemisphere. We have one of the oldest Jewish synagogues in the West.
In the Western
So they
Hemisphere.
have like these walking tours that you can learn about the history, and dating back from the slave era and even prior to that. So very rich history and heritage.
Yeah.
So you can either do the typical touristic type activities, or if you really want to learn about Barbados and who we are and what we represent and where we came from, there's that aspect as well.
Great nightlife, golf. Those are a
Oh
couple of things
yes,
I know people
definitely.
And,
really
and one
enjoy.
of, and one of the real beauties before we move on from that point, and if you kind of went back to the map that you had there on the screen,
Okay.
uh, if you show that for the benefit of your clients, that all of those things, I mean, we haven't touched them. So from the north point there where we see Crab Hill or North Point
Mhm.
to South Point, that is 21 miles.
Okay.
So the island is not a huge island, but you'll find packed within that 21 miles long, 14 miles wide island there. All of these things are available to your clients. So it's not like they're going to Costa Rica or somewhere and it's a 3 hour trip to get to the rainforest or to get out there to do some soft adventure. That all of these things, so folks could be going out diving. I know the significant lady, she's not into that. She can head into Bridgetown to the duty free shops and do that, or they might be on the East Coast doing some the island safari or something. But you're never really far from your resort area in Barbados because so much is compacted within our 166 square miles.
One of the things that we did while we were in Barbados is not anything that anyone would expect to do anywhere in the Caribbean. My husband and I have this thing that we love to do. We had high tea.
Really? Where did you go?
Um, I can't remember, but we were under these big mahogany trees in a garden. It was amazing. But that I
Sandy
know.
Lane?
I'm sorry.
Sandy Lane?
It could have been Sandy Lane. Could have well been Sandy Lane, but it was beautiful. It was just charming, and it was lovely. We just felt it just was so special, and so I mean, who would ever expect to go to the Caribbean and have high tea? But it's
Exactly. That's our British side.
yeah, that's your British side, and it's one of the things we really enjoyed doing. So we jumped on that when we saw it was an option in Barbados, and so something unexpected,
Yeah.
totally. But let's turn to a question that I know. I've got some slides that I want to show here in a few minutes, but I know that top of mind for everybody right now, people want to know what about the COVID crisis? How has that been affecting your beautiful island? And are you making progress? Are you hoping to reopen for visitors here shortly? And what's going on with that?
So it's been a challenging time overall. It came smack bam in the middle of our tourist season. Our cruise season, we were trending, we were doing really well. All the ships were coming, the land-based tourists were here, and everything was going really great. And then obviously everything shut down. We had the no sail order, and then all the hotels closed, and everybody was in a rush to get home. Flights then were suspended, like everything just happened all at once. But we managed the situation pretty well. We had like 90, I think it was 95, 97 cases. We only had like 7 deaths. We only have one person in isolation as we speak. So as a small island and a small destination with limited resources, I think that we managed it quite well.
I think you
Everyone
did.
followed the protocols issued by government. We had curfews implemented. So certain times at night you could not be on the street, otherwise you would be prosecuted. So residents really followed the protocols and what they were asked to do.
That is fabulous. I'm glad that you covered that so well.
We're due to reopen to tourists, commercial air traffic from the 12th of July. The first flight will be coming from Canada. We would have loved to reopen to the US much sooner, but given the current situation there, it's like we just hope that it gets under control soon so that US travelers can begin to visit the island again.
We're with you on that one 100%. I know, Seymour, you're here in Florida.
Yeah.
Where I'm located. So it's, we really need to get on top of this because I think we're all tired of it now. We're ready to get.
We're all over it.
Very much. Yeah. But also, the U.S. JetBlue resumes from JFK on July 25th. And out of Miami, American is August 5th. So those are the resumption dates.
Fingers crossed.
So we'll send away. We're going full steam. So that is the reopening. We share the protocols with you in terms of what applies. But pretty much
I can just briefly mention. I have them here. Just disclaimer. So these protocols that have been released currently just pertain to air travelers or visitors arriving by air. Our team here, our port officials and Ministry of Health officials are still working on the protocols for passengers arriving by ship. They're working with the CDC as well because, as you know, some of these cruises will be starting from the US mainland. So we all have to be on the same page. And as we all anticipate, passengers don't want to be tested at every port. So the ones for the cruise visitors, we are going to release those at a later date, and we can definitely share those with you. But as it
pertains, know when those come out, because I'd definitely be interested in knowing those when they're released.
But for those arriving by air, you're required to take a pre-arrival. So you must complete a pre-arrival online embarkation ED form, and we're encouraging you to complete this form 24 hours prior to arrival, and including your intended address and health information. And then you're required to take a COVID-19 PCR test from an accredited or certified facility or laboratory in your country. And the test should be done within 72 hours before arriving to the island. And these tests must be submitted electronically, and travelers should also bring a copy of the test with them.
Okay, so we're going to have to make, there's going to have to be some protocols and things put into place. So hopefully we'll
share these with you.
Yeah. So question for our audience now. I'm just going to go through real fast here and just show you some images of some of the places in Barbados that here's some of the wildlife.
Our signature green monkey.
Yeah. And Mount Tabor Church.
Mm-hmm. We have some of the oldest churches in the West.
A couple of them I know that we saw on our tour. Fine dining, beach
So if you want to get married, you could come and get married in a 400-year-old church.
Wow. Here's a little bit maybe of yoga right here on the beach.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
promoting health and wellness because everybody wants to stay healthy.
And one of the festivals here.
Yeah, this looked like our Festive Fridays event that was happening every Friday at Pelican. So Pelican is like a stone's throw away from the port. So local entertainment, lots of local food. And this image is from the street parade.
Perfect. And here's one of my favorites from the high tea.
Your scones.
I had to throw that in there, but see where our time is. Boy, did this go fast tonight. How many people? I want to comment from all you people out there. How many of you now have Barbados on your bucket list? I want to know. So just give me a yes if Barbados is now on your bucket list, folks. But it's never long enough, and this went so fast tonight, guys. I thank you so much, Seymour and Tia, for joining us and so much information you shared. Our goal is always to just leave our audience with useful insights and inspire you to visit some of the beautiful places on the planet. And I think we've certainly done that tonight. Gretchen and Kathy both say definitely they're on board to come. And so thanks again, guys. I appreciate your taking the time to be here.
It was our pleasure.
To our audience, you do not want to miss next week. We are going to have our guest, Alida Paljevic. She's from the iWorld of Travel, talking about escorted tours and their product. They're the old Isram World escorted tours, and she'll be joining us next week for our Let's Talk Travel. So thanks everybody for joining us. You guys have been great. I so appreciate it again. And let's stay in touch and talk soon as things get updated and we start getting ready to go and get on the road once again. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you, Pat. Much love from Barbados.
Thanks again.
Good night.